So our project is about language families and the relations between these languages within the families. So the definition of a language family is that it's a group of languages related through a descent from a common ancestral language or parental language, and this is called the proto-language of this family. So the object of our project is to prove that people who speak languages within the same family are able to somewhat understand each other even a little while speaking their different languages. So here's a chart showing a tree of language families. And we're going to show this by having two people who speak a language in the same family experiment with reading a short passage to one another in their individual language. And then each one will pick out words they recognize and feel they know the translation of and write it down. And then from here we will compare how many words each pair finds familiar and show similarities between the languages in these families. Okay, so before we begin, I'm just going to read the passage in English just so you know what people are talking about, and so you can follow along and see if you recognize any of the words people are saying depending on what language they're speaking. So the passage is called Sun, Stars, and Moon. In the sky, you can see the sun, stars, and the moon. The sun is up during the day. It is very hot. The sun gives us light and heat. Plants need the sun to grow. We can see the stars at night. That is because the sun is a star too. There are more stars than we can count. Some people see shapes in the stars. A group of stars that make a shape is called a constellation. Have you ever seen the Big Dipper? That is a constellation. The moon is out at night. Sometimes we can still see it during the day. It does not give off light and heat.
The first Proto-Indo-European subfamily language that we're going to compare today is Indo-Iranian. Let's take a closer look at two descendant languages of Indo-Iranian, Punjabi and Farsi.
Okay, so my name is Diana, and this is Harmeet. I will be speaking in Farsi, and Harmeet will be speaking in Punjabi. So I will start off with the passage Sun, Stars, and Moon, which I'll be reading in Farsi, and then Harmeet will be taking down the words that sound similar from Farsi to Punjabi. تو آسمونا میتونی ببینی خورشید و ستاره را هم ماه. وقتی خورشید میاد بیرون بالا تو روز خیلی داغه. وقتی خورشید بهمون نور میده هم داغی سبزی‌ها بعد این خورشید رو داشته باشن که بزرگ بشن. ما میتونیم ستاره رو تو شب هم ببینیم. برای اینکه خورشید میدن هم داغی میدن مثل خورشید. این برای اینکه خورشید یک ستاره هم هستش. خیلی بیشتر ستاره هستن که ما میتونیم نمره بدیم. خیلی آدم ها میبینن این ستاره رو یه جوری. وقتی ما بیرون هستش تو شب ما میتونیم ببینیمش تو روز. برای اینکه خیلی خورشید هم نور نمیده. And so, did you get some words done?
Yeah.
Okay. So, apparently, sky in Farsi is Asamun.
And sky in Punjabi is Asman.
So that's pretty similar. And then stars in Farsi is Sitare.
Stars in Punjabi is also Sitara.
Moon in Farsi is Ma.
And moon in Punjabi is Chandrama.
And then so we have light in Farsi is Noor.
Light in Punjabi is also Noor.
Heat in Farsi is Garmi.
Heat in Punjabi is also Garmi.
Plants in Farsi is Sabzi.
Plants in Punjabi is also Sabji.
And then we have stars, light, moon.
That's about it.
Oh, and then last one, sorry. People in Farsi is Adam.
And people in Punjabi is Admi.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Very cool.
The second Proto-Indo-European subfamily language that we're going to compare today is the Germanic language. Let's take a closer look at two Germanic descendant languages, Flemish and English.
Alright, so I'm Sasha and I'm the English speaker.
I'm Sharon and I'm the Flemish speaker.
Alright, and we're going to start the passage now.
Zon, sterren en maan. In de hemel kunt u de zon, sterren en de maan zien. De zon is groot gedurende de dag. Het is echt warm. De zon geeft ons licht en warmte. Groenten hebben de zon nodig om te groeien. We kunnen de sterren op nacht zien. Ze geeft ook licht en warmte gelijk de zon. Dat is daarom, de zon is een ster ook. Er zijn meer sterren dan we kunnen tellen. Sommige mensen kunnen dingen in de sterren zien. Een groep van sterren dat kunnen dingen maakt, zo een cirkel of een square, is een constellatie. Heb je ooit de Big Dipper gezien? Dat is een constellatie. Het maan is buiten gedurende de nacht. Sommige keren kan het nog zien gedurende de dag. Het geeft af geen licht of warmte. The end.
Okay. So in that passage, I understood when she said sun and star and moon and hot and warm. And when she said we can see, it was like
We kunnen zien.
we can see. And night and light. And I guess that tellen was count, because it's our guess. And then group was group. And then constellation I recognized as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was fun.
The third Proto-Indo-European subfamily language that we are going to compare today is the Italic language. The Italic language includes Latin and its descendants. We're going to take a closer look at Spanish and French.
Hi, my name is Carlos. I'm the Spanish speaker. This is Angola. He's the French speaker. I'm just going to say the paragraphs now in Spanish. En el cielo puedes ver el sol, las estrellas y la luna. El sol amanece durante el día, está muy caliente. El sol nos da la luz y nos calienta. Las plantas necesitan el sol para crecer. Nosotros podemos ver las estrellas en la noche. Ellos dan la luz y calientan como el sol. Es por eso el sol es una estrella también. Hay más estrellas que podemos contar con. Unas personas ven otras figuras en las estrellas. Un grupo de estrellas que crean una figura se llaman una constelación. ¿Has visto el Big Dipper? Es una constelación. La luz sale durante la noche. Unas veces la podemos ver durante el día. No da luz o calentamiento.
C'est très bien.
Okay, yeah. So, what similarities did you see in the passages?
So the one that I thought is star. Star in French is étoile.
Okay, and star in Spanish is estrella.
Four in French is par.
And then four in Spanish is para.
Then another one I thought night in French is nuit.
And night in Spanish is noche.
During in French is durant.
And during in Spanish is durante.
Okay. Sky in French is ciel.
And then sky in Spanish is cielo.
And figure in French is figure.
And figure in Spanish is figura.
So after completing our 3 studies, we were hoping to find some kind of significance to let us know whether these groups of languages were more similar in some cases than others. So first for Germanic, we had Flemish versus English, and we had 11 similar words in that passage. For Italic, we had Spanish versus French, and we had 6 similar words for that passage. And last for Indo-Iranian, we had Farsi versus Punjabi, and we ended up having 7 similar words for that passage. Now, what we would like to do is find some kind of significance, telling us whether one grouping, maybe Germanic, is more similar than Italic would be, or Indo-Iranian is more similar than either of the two. And the preferable way to do this is by doing an ANOVA test, or a hypothesis test for an ANOVA. And that is making all of them equal to each other as our hypothesis and saying all Germanic, Italic, and Indo-Iranian should be equal to each other, and all the words should be as similar because they are the same grouping of languages. Unfortunately, we did not have enough people. The study had to be much larger scale to be able to approve of all the assumptions needed to do the test. And so we were not able to do an ANOVA. We did a much smaller scale test. We did a goodness of fit test, which is a chi-square test. And what we did was we said as our hypothesis that all of the words should have been exactly the same. So that means all of the Germanic versus Italic versus Indo-Iranian, the number of words that sounded similar to each other in their little groupings should have been the same for each three. And we ended up doing the chi-square test, and we got a p-value of 0.2, which is relatively high. You would want a p-value below 0.1 or 0.05 in order to reject your null hypothesis. So we, in this case, failed to reject our null hypothesis, meaning that our null hypothesis was they were all equal to each other, which means there's no big differences in the subcategories of languages in these big categories. And we failed to reject that, meaning that there is no difference. If we were to do a bigger study and we were able to not just have a few participants, but many participants, we would have done an ANOVA, and that would have hopefully showed a little bit more significance whether Germanic or Italic or Indo-Iranian had closer sub-languages compared to each other. But yeah, that's what our study showed us.